Hello everyone, my name is Don Alamban. I chose the student response system as my digital tool in the classroom because I think it's more appropriate in our line of work. I work with the cooperative extension system and we do non-formal education with a variety of audience ranging from farmers to retired individuals, young students who participate in our 4-H program and also in our school garden programs. And while these young students are more comfortable with advanced technologies like iPads or Chromebooks or the smartphones, a lot of our farmers and some of our farmers and a lot of the retired individuals who participate in our classes are not really comfortable with these high-tech gadgets. The most advanced technology that they have would be the good old flip phone, and what they do have is a lot of free time which they can use to do volunteer work. And with minimal funding, the extension office love these volunteers, and that's why we don't want them to be alienated by using advanced technologies in our classes. And so I think the best or the most appropriate tool would be the clickers, as what we call them. And they use keypads which look like calculators. I don't have the clicker, but it looks similar to a calculator, and please don't intimidate these people because everybody knows what a calculator is. And a good advantage of this is it's easy to use. They just have to punch in the numbers corresponding to the answers on the presentation, and the information is gathered anonymously, so they don't have to worry. And maybe they would give out more honest answers because they don't give out information, or nobody knows who made the answer. And it also gives out information in real time. The system collates and summarizes the information, and then you could have it presented in your presentation for both you and the audience to see. And so it also is very interactive and would bring back the interest of your audience, or sustain the interest of your audience in your presentation, as they would be interested to see what the results of the questions that you have answered, that you have asked them. And aside from that, you could gather a lot of information from your audience. You could know them better. You could ask information about demographics, their age, their educational background also. And since it is anonymous, then they could give out more specific answers. And so you'll have a better understanding of your audience and what their backgrounds are. And so you could, by using this information, you could adjust your presentation to the level of your audience. And that's why I think it's really appropriate for our line of work. And another advantage is you can make it as a tool to break the monotony of your presentation. You could insert questions and or surveys, and it brings back the interest of your audience. You can also get feedback or information as to how well your audience understood your presentation by giving out short pieces or questions about your presentation and have them answer it. And if you could gauge their level of understanding of the topic that you have presented. And as I've said earlier, you could also get a lot of information depending on the questions you ask. And so it's really a helpful tool to bring into the classroom, and also a very easy tool to use that doesn't require prior knowledge or learning about what the tool is, because it's just as easy as punching a key or in the keypad. And although with the advancement of technology now, there's a lot of new student response systems that are very animated, that they could further increase the quality of your presentation and also hold the interest of your audience. But these require also maybe a little knowledge from your audience also. Like there are systems now that you could even use your own smartphone to key in your answers. You just download an app, and then you'll have access to the keypad that the system uses. And so you don't even need a clicker. But as in our case, as I've said earlier, not everyone has a smartphone or an iPad. So it would be it would not be very applicable in some of our situations. In our corner of the world also, there are even places where the internet system is very slow, and sometimes you don't get a connection. So using these apps that require internet service or cell phone service would not work in some of our classes. And so while these new technologies are really very nice to when you see it presented, but there's just some technology limitations also in our place, which would prevent us from doing or using these technologies. And as I've said earlier also, with the limited funding that Extension Service gets, it would also be very expensive for the Extension Office to spend on this kind of system. And so with that, I'd like to end this presentation. And there's a lot of digital tools that would really be very useful in making your classroom alive and keep the students glued into your presentation. But our situation in the Extension Office or in our part of the state doesn't yet allow us to utilize these advanced technologies. And thank you very much for your attention. If you have questions or comments, just leave it in the comment section of the voice thread, and I'll be glad to answer them or give my comments back. Thank you very much.